all the way from Montreal, Canada. Yeah, but you guys all heard Marcus Wallenberg this morning. What did he say about Canada? It's one of the places that has a good strategy on AI. So if you want to talk about AI, you can come and see me later. I'm not necessarily the expert on AI, but I'm happy to field you to some Canadians who are. So yes, I am from Montreal. I am from Canada. I work for an amazing company called BRP, which stands for Bombardier Recreational Products. For those that don't know us, I'm just going to show you a quick little video that's going to do a much better job at explaining who we are than I ever will.
That was sweet.
So we make some of the world's coolest toys, quite obviously. I think we can all agree on that. And I get to play with them, which makes it really, really fun. So if you're wondering why I work there, well, I kind of like to ride a Ski-Doo or a Sea-Doo or one of those big side-by-side dune buggies and take them off cliffs. A little bit of an adrenaline junkie to a certain extent. But I guess that's why I also work in data, because you need to be loving adrenaline to work in our field. So a little bit about me, been in data for a little over 20 years. I've spent a good part of my career in consulting, flipped it over to work with different clients, different customers, and working directly with those organizations, from Aldo in the retail industry to Ubisoft in the gaming world, today with BRP manufacturing and delivering some of the coolest products ever built, to continuing to teach at university, to share the knowledge and the experience that I gained from working with all of those organizations, but also to keep on learning. A big part of what we do is to learn, and you've heard it, it changes so rapidly that if you don't stay on top of your game, you're never going to be able to drive the value you need for your organization. That's more the pedigree me. The real me, I like to build stuff. As much as I love to build data platforms, I like to do my own renovations, and I gutted my little cottage and rebuilt it myself. I'm also, like I said, a big fan of our toys, taking them out on the snow and taking my kids on them with me. In my spare time, to stay sane, I like to do triathlons. It's a great way of just exercising and going out on the road and having fun. I've actually gotten one of my oldest boy to join me on this journey. He was 7 years old. It was his second triathlon, believe it or not, and he is still doing them, which is awesome. Today is a little more of a poser with his nice long hair. I do have some envy and jealousy around it, but this is working with data too much. You know, it happens. It just burns out and goes away. And this is my youngest. We were coming back from a trip, and he's very much of an artist. Was very sad we were leaving the Caribbean and decided to make his food plate as a sad face. Very cute. Love them. They are the reasons we do everything we do. But let me talk to you about one of the major trends that I found. One of the things I like to do is try and understand what's going on in the industry and where are we going. I do a lot of research. I take a look at different market statements and different researcher firms. And then I kind of craft my own message as to what do I see happening and where do I see us going. And organizations are really desperate to drive adaptive artificial intelligence and decision making. But in order to be able to do that, we need to have a few things in place. We need to have properly governed data, and we need to have observable data in order to do this. But you can't do this leveraging a traditional organizational structure. You need to be a little bit more modern in the way you organize yourself in order to drive that value. So just a little word of caution. I am not going to solve all of your problems in Well, there's 15 minutes left, so in 15 minutes. However, what I'm hoping is that this can spark a conversation. I'm going to be here all day today and all day tomorrow, and if you want to come and pick my brain and just chat and challenge me and debate, I am always open to any of those scenarios. So let's get together, let's chat, let's discuss this. But let's go back to what the typical organizational structures we have that we see in the world of data. The first one is pretty much how it always starts up, right? You've got this decentralized organization, lots of little mushrooms popping up. Nobody's really talking to anybody. It's really the symbol of immature data orgs. Resources work in silos. There really aren't any common standards across all of the different teams that are trying to run their projects. We don't have much view on standards or on total spend. So when someone asks you, how much are we spending from an analytics perspective in the organization, it becomes a little bit difficult to bring up a number that makes sense. We don't share best practices across the silos necessarily. However, there really is a massive pro, is that proximity to the business. Being able to really understand what's going on and articulate the problems and the opportunities we are trying to solve for and drive. So that turns into a very flexible organization that is agile and capable of turning on a dime. However, duplication is inevitable. And that's where those organizations start to have problems. On the complete other extreme of the spectrum, we've got the heavily centralized organization where everything is run directly out of one place. And of course, there are pros and cons. Pros is that we have a very strong central organization where best practices can be enforced, where we can ensure that we have a common architecture across everything that gets done. We reach those economies of scales that we are talking about that we want to have. The resources, however, get dispatched to many different projects without necessarily building that belonging feeling to the project or the team or the group that they are trying to service. The priorities start to get managed very centrally. The projects are led centrally. We lose that proximity with the business. We lose that knowledge and that agility, and we become a bureaucratic organization that is slow to deliver, that is inflexible, and that people get very fed up with. Because all they do is ask for stuff and we tell them to take a ticket, and then one day maybe we'll get back to them 3 years later. Not exactly the best case scenario to drive democratization of artificial intelligence or data. But there's another option, and what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is a different model, a model called the Federation, which is inspired by multiple different things that I've seen over the last 25 years. It is not a cookie-cutter strategy. It is not something that I would Google and find and say, hey, look, this is a really cool strategy. Some consultant, I have nothing against consultants. I was a consultant for 10 years. But that's some consulting firm just came up with, and I'm going to deploy it as is. The Federation, what it allows us to do is to ensure that all of the business priorities essentially are driven by the business. They are not driven by the central data team. The deliverables are the ones the business needs to enable its strategies, therefore focused on value. But we still get the benefits of a standard architecture. We still manage to reach those economies of scales. The employees, the architects, the engineers, the business analysts, and all of that amazing pool of talent belongs and feels that sense of belonging because they are part of something greater than just themselves or this tiny little stream that they are supporting or project. It is an agile, product-driven, flexible organization. And you've heard about the importance of trying to go product. Data is an asset, but data is also a product, and we need to treat it as such. And of course, we manage to maintain a certain level of compliance, regulations, GDPR, Law 25 in Quebec, actually, that's coming out, which is similar to GDPR in terms of the privacy constraints and the utilization of data. So we can put all of these factors in place, essentially benefiting from a decentralized organization and a centralized organization, trying to grab the pros of both and building a new model. Over time, what we notice is that companies will go back and forth. At some point, like I said, you start off with a decentralized world, a decentralized view, completely disconnected. I'm not talking about data mesh decentralized. I'm talking about real decentralized with no connecting fabric. Except that at some point, your CFO or your CEO or someone tells you, how much are we spending on analytics? Are we spending too much? Are we not investing enough? Are we getting the value that we need? And nobody can give a consistent answer. That needs to change. Except that then companies go from the decentralized to, oh my God, panic state, let's centralize everything and try to command and control, which eventually doesn't work either. And so we start to look at another option, being the federation. What I would highly suggest is if you are in those early stages of being fully decentralized with no governing structure, try and skip the centralization step because it won't really generate much value and go straight to the federation. By the way, this is what we are doing where I work today. So I'm not just blowing smoke up, I'm actually telling you something that works. And I do have people from my team that are here with me today, so they will tell you if I'm lying. You can go and ask them, and you'll know whether or not I'm just trying to sell you something, which I'm not, because I have nothing to sell. So that strategy that we're putting in place, that organization that we're trying to put in place, has some foundational pillars, some strategic pillars that are critical for it to succeed. The first one, of course, being a domain-driven organization where we are going to be setting up domain teams that are capable of delivering end-to-end data products. Built on a modern data platform, a cloud data platform that is scalable and that you can consumption-based-wise leverage and utilize. No, I'm not talking about technologies today, and I won't mention any kind of technology. I'm talking to you about what you need to do. The tech you choose to do it, really not of my concern. From a data observability perspective, you want to ensure that your users are capable of finding the data assets they need, especially if you've got multiple domains delivering products. You need to be able to find those data assets, trace back their lineage, and ensure that the quality of the assets respects what the users need in order to be able to deliver on their business strategies. And lastly, the famous concept of data interoperability. You've got multiple domains. Each one of those domains are delivering data products. How do we make sure that we can cross all of those data products together to generate a compounded value from just bringing them together? That gets done through the interoperability, common architecture, common standards, definitions that make sense. Those are foundational pillars to make this federation work. You miss one of those, your federation will not work. So if you want to talk more about them, I can describe them in much more detail. So what does the federation look like? Well, my team would recognize this slide quite well because this is what we are building and deploying. As a foundational piece, we've got 4 components that drive everything we do. Standard architecture, governed data, ability to audit the work that's being done, who's running what queries and why and when, and of course, privacy by design. Leveraging that, we expose capabilities and tools so that all of the different domain teams that I was talking about today can go in and build the data products that they need to deliver to drive business value. So if you've got a domain, they will be a self-contained, autonomous squad of people, a group, a team that can deliver an end-to-end data product from the identification of the data we need to go and ingest through its architecture, its loading, and all the way to the delivery of the product. Now, product can mean very many different things in very many different contexts. But the intent is to deliver those products and not just deliver them and flip them over to somebody else to then maintain, manage, adjust for drift or whatever, to actually manage them, operate them, and ensure their operational health. You can have as many domains as you want. You can have as, well, not too little either and not too many, but there's a right number based on your organization that you're going to want to figure out based on what your company does, how they are structured today, how large they are, how complex their operations are, how many distribution channels they have, et cetera, et cetera. So we build all of these fantastic domains and we build data products, but we do this so that within our business teams, we have people that can do analysis. We have people that can run a model, that can build a dashboard. We expose those domains and those data products to the different teams so that the data teams on the business side, so that the consumption teams on the business side can go cross domains based on the security rights that they have, based on the privacy roles that they were given, can leverage those data products and start to build their own data products, start to deliver value on a trusted set of data assets. We're not going to bottleneck by saying that domain team 1 has to deliver for 20,000 employees all the reports they need from a sales perspective. It's not going to work. Too many people. Democratize, teach them, educate them, teach them to fish. So as many business teams as you need, they know the business opportunities, they are the ones that can deliver. Now this whole DNA organization, data and analytics organization, is really a double helix. Just like the DNA strands in the human body. The Federation is a double helix because, well, it looks at two different things. It's going to look at business opportunities on the one hand. It's going to look at technical analytics capabilities on the other. And when you start to look at the business opportunities, you'll notice, let's grab CSAT, customer satisfaction. Well, the marketing team wants to better understand their customers. They want to be able to drive better experiences in their stores. So you need to understand the CSAT. The CSAT, however, comes with a lot of very unstructured data. It's comments, it's feedback. It could be in multiple languages. What do you do with this? Where do you put it? How do you analyze it? Do you hire 30 people with 30 different language skills and they start to read every single thing and then they try and take notes and consolidate the info? Guess what? A lot of companies do that. But it is not the most efficient way. So what do you do? Well, this is where the other branch of the helix comes into play. At that point, from a data and analytics perspective, we know that we can take this unstructured data, we can bring it into our data cloud, we can then apply an NLP model in order to extract sentiment, extract themes, extract trends, and start to inform the business on what needs to be done. Great. Two different sets of capabilities. However, when you bring those sets together, this is where you truly build a force to be reckoned with from a data and analytics perspective. It is not a single team. It is not a single leader. It is a federation. It is people coming together in order to collaborate and drive value. So DNA is a data federation, and as a data federation, it emulates that double helix value. The first one driving capabilities, the second one driving business opportunities. Together, they have the capability of bringing value to the organization, but each helix has a clear leader. Each helix has clear responsibilities and delineations of what they can and cannot do. And working together that way, we can transform the way organizations leverage data and drive value. So our organization, DNA, can bring a ton of value to the rest of the company. Built in that way, you can address the needs of three types of users. You've got users that are advisors, that are looking for advice. You have users that are looking for sources of data, and you have users that are looking for solutions. How does that work? Built in this way, the federation can supply end-to-end data products for those that are looking for solutions because they don't have the capability of building it themselves. The federation can also enable teams who have the capability to build solutions themselves. And we have that case at BRP where some groups can build their own data products. What do? We enable them with data so that they can do it. And from an advisory perspective, bring them best practices, strategies, methodologies, and help on selecting tools or algorithms to address their complexities and their strategies. So where do you go from here? I am now out of time, which is perfect because I am done. What you need to do is explore your company's culture. Do not accept a standardized cookie cutter strategy. Meet with the data and analytics stakeholders within your organization. Understand where your company wants to go. Build as a function of that. Don't build it as a function of simply you thinking you know that everything is going to go the way you decide it and it's going to be the perfect strategy and all that. Adapt. Be flexible. The strategy you're building has to reflect your company's culture and values, and don't boil the ocean. Start small. Find a small use case. Find a small project that you can deliver value with using this organization. Don't go and build 17 domains at first. Try to build 2 or 3. Take it easy. Just go one step at a time. With that being said, thank you very much, everyone. I love seeing so many familiar faces in the audience. I'll be here. Don't hesitate to come and say hi.